2011 Ultimate Builder Custom Bike Show in Novi, Michigan. We're talking to Gary Maurer of Custom Inc. Gary, take a minute and give us a little about your background, please.
Been self-employed building bikes for 27 years now. Always been into Harleys, always loved the art of building motorcycles, and we own a shop. We do one-off frames, seats, gas tanks. A lot of our stuff we do is one-off. We do some short-run production, and this is an example of what we build in our shop.
Let's start from the beginning. What were you trying to accomplish with this build, Gary?
I'll try to make a long story short. My wife hit a deer on her Harley, was in the hospital, and my brother bought her a plaque with a 1930s Indian on it, one of them tin signs. And I was looking at that thinking, man, it'd be cool to build a bike similar to that. And then I got the chance to be in the Eternal Combustion with Michael Lichter in Sturgis, South Dakota. Ron Finch and I were teamed up, which we helped build Ron's bikes. Ron builds his frames in our shop. And so this bike, we had 8 weeks to build a bike, and I had this concept looking at this Indian, and it was if you fell asleep in 1930, then woke back up in 2010, what could you do? And this is what we ended up with. It's my interpretation of an old Indian motorcycle.
What inspired this? Just your vision from the tin sign?
The vision from the tin sign was quite an inspiration. The fact that I got to work with Ron Finch. Ron did, I took the bike to Ron's. We did some work on it over there. We made the belt guard and fender struts, floorboards, and then Ron Finch also painted the bike. Chop Doc's choppers, he did the base coat and the body work, and then Finch painted the artwork on it. And my inspiration was I had 8 weeks to, I was one of 30 builders that got invited to be in Lichter's exhibit, and I had 8 weeks to build a bike, and that's all I could think of. So this is my interpretation of what I had to do in an 8 week period.
In 8 weeks. Tell us about the fabrication on this.
It started out, I started with the idea on the front end. And I like the old Indian leaf spring front end, but I didn't want to copy the Kiwi Indian front end, but I wanted something like it. So we handmade the front end. I had a 1937 Chevy headlight, which we ended up shortening. And the front end changed. It was going to be a coil spring front end with the shock absorber in the headlight, but I was running out of time. We had a little deal where we wanted to put, I've got, on the handlebars there's 2 ribs, on the foot pegs there's 2 ribs. We were going to put 2 ribs on the fender, didn't get there, had 2 ribs here. So we started with kind of the design of the front end. I wanted the kind of the board track Indian look on the frame, but a lot of people will build frames, including myself, and they're all just the same. So in consulting with Ron Finch, he says it's got to be wild, so I've tried to keep a nice flow, have a bar under the gas tank, have bars over the gas tank, so the gas tanks would look like they could slide between. Every single tube that I could has a 10mm arc in all the tubes except for the top, so I tried to keep a nice flow. The gas tanks, it was one piece at first, and then I cut it in 2 because I changed my design, which I wanted to kind of resemble the Indian, but I didn't want it to look like anybody else's. And then I drilled a hole in the front end. I had a hole in the oil tank that goes all the way through, so I knew I had to carry that through somewhere, so I put a hole through the gas tank, so you can see all the way through the gas tanks, all the way through the oil tank, and we put a few holes here and there just to get a good balance. And a lot of building a custom bike that my opinion is that makes it a very nice bike, and it's got to be appealing to the eye. It's got to have nice curves, and it's got to flow. So that was, you know, we tried to do that with everything we did, and building everything in-house, it makes it a lot easier to do that because we manufactured almost every part on this bike, so all in-house.
What was your approach on paint?
The approach on paint, believe it or not, is I took it over to, we had like 2 weeks left. Finch was getting nervous. I took it to Chop Doc's, and he slung some mud on it, put it in the base coat of blue, took it to Finch, and actually I never said anything to Chop Docks or to Ron Finch on what color I wanted, what design I wanted, what anything. Those guys are both artists, and I feel you don't tell an artist what to do. I dropped the bike off and I said paint it, and when I picked it up I couldn't have requested more of perfect of a paint job is what I've got. I mean the design, and if you go from right to left, it's different from right to left, which is Finch's style. The bodywork's just awesome. You know, I mean, it turned out great, and I never said a word about colors, candies. Never told them my favorite color or anything. This is just what they came up with. So,
what companies were instrumental in getting your bike finished? Obviously, the two people you discussed.
Yeah, Kustoms Inc. and then Evil Engineering, which I'm a partner in, which we do the belt drive, which is the herringbone belt drive. And this is a one-off primary. It's got a stock, it's a Baker transmission, but we don't actually make this primary, so I cut the primary all up, I cut the transmission all up, modified it, rolled the starter around behind it, which we don't make for a stock trans case and a left side drive. We got Pirelli, Metzler Pirelli Comtus, the tires. John at Crazy Horse, which I think he calls that something else now, he Comtus the motor. Chop Docks did the paint, like I said, and Finch did paint. John Harrow did pinstriping. Lenny did pinstriping. Ride Right Comtus the wheels for it, and then the person that helped the most was the wife. She did the seat, she did the fender, she did the headlight. She also helped on the gas tanks and a lot of the little components. My brother-in-law sat at the lathe and made little foot pegs and little things with ribs and stuff on it. So we had, we had some help from some other people in order to pull this off in the amount of time we did it.
If somebody'd like to get a hold of you, how would they contact you?
My website is down. I'm trying to get it up, but you could go to evil-engineering.com, and there's an info at Evil link on Evil Engineering. That comes to my office, but the Kustoms-inc.com is down right now. I'm trying to get that put back up. But you can go to Evil Engineering and contact us through there. I get all those emails, will come right to me. Or Kustoms Inc., and we're in Grand Ledge, and we advertise like basically nowhere. So I mean, 28 years of doing it, I really don't advertise like we should, because we stay pretty busy. So,
Gary, thank you very much.
Thank you.